Hi, welcome to the first ever edition of Yoga for Old Guys. I'm Kurt Bowman and thank you for joining. This first session we're going to walk through things kind of slowly. We're going to start basic, and as the sessions go along we're going to keep advancing, but we're going to grow in strength and flexibility together. And again, welcome. Let's get started in a comfortable seated position. Now, if you're just doing this for the first time, comfortable seated might be with your legs like this, but at any rate, sit in a position where you can have your spine long. The whole idea is for you to sit up as straight as you're able. Let your neck grow strong. Let your head sit right on top. And for the time being, just simply close your eyes. One of the tenets of yoga is to bring your breathing in with your motion, with your movements. And so as you breathe in yoga, as we go through the routines, try and breathe in slowly through your nose. And exhale through your nostrils. As much as you're able, breathe in and out through your nostrils. Just take a moment and take a couple slow breaths in and out. The other challenge, still with your eyes closed, we're all busy. We have things to do and things we've done all day in some cases. Our bodies can only live in the present. Our mind can think about the past, it can worry about the future. But for this next time together, try and focus and bring your mind and body into the same spot. Don't think about anything else. Breathe in. Exhale out. Officially, the breath is called Ujjayi Breathing, where you have an oceanic sound. Some call it a Darth Vader sound, but always try and breathe in and out through your nostrils. Open your eyes. Place your fingers down next to you, keeping your spine long. Arms up overhead. Take your left fingers down to the ground and just reach into that left side. Allow your right ribs to grow long. Don't bend with your neck, but stretch with your torso. Take a breath in. Arms up overhead. Right fingers down. Lean into that right side. Left ribs are growing long. Now this whole time as you're doing this, your sits bones, those bony parts of your glutes, they're planted firmly on the ground. Arms up overhead. One more time to the left. Just breathe into that right side. Fill the right side, let it fill. Arms up to neutral, overhead. And one more time, back over to the right. Now, let's take and turn to our right. Place the right fingers behind, left wrist on the right knee. Now twist with your torso. Don't twist with your eyes, because your eyes will deceive the twist. Twist with your shoulder, look over your right shoulder, but twist with your chest and your torso. If you have to, put your fingers down more straight and sit up taller. Now switch back over to the left. Plant the left hand. Sitting tall. Stretch with that chest. Open up the chest. Okay. Roll over to our hands and knees. It's called Tabletop. Wrists down underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Now, with a breath in through the nostrils, allow your pelvis to drop first, and bring your neck and head up last. This is called cow. Now we're going to now exhale into cat. Allowing the pelvis and the lumbar to raise up. Let your neck, head just drop. Inhale the cat. Exhale to cow. Inhale to cat. Exhale to cow. Okay, one of the things I failed to mention at the start was you may want to block. I made this one. You can get them at Target or Amazon or anything like that. Yoga blocks are many different materials. They're 4 by 6 by 9. And at some point you may want a strap as well. And I'll show you what we mean later on and in sessions to come. It can be an old belt. This is a 1-inch webbing I had in the garage. But that may come in handy depending upon your flexibility. Okay, let's come to standing. I'm going to turn perpendicular to you, but I want to demonstrate mountain. When we come into mountain, the idea will be to roll your shoulders back and down, opening those shoulders up, and turning your palms out into the anatomical, or if you're laying down, the supine position. But the important thing is to have those hands or those shoulders back and down. Let's not round our shoulders during yoga. We do that enough during the day. Okay, come to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Just allow your head and neck to hang. Now at this point in your practice, your forward fold may be coming down to your shins or at best your ankles. It'll get better if it's not there now. Inhale, halfway lifted. This is for some, if you're able to leave your fingers on the mat and keep your spine straight, that's the thing, spine straight. It can be angled, but I can't do that. I round. So halfway lifted, the important thing is get your spine straight. Expand those shoulder blades. Forward fold. Come into high plank. Always in high plank, look to push your shoulder blades away from the floor. Okay, and don't sag, don't drop your knees. This is where the strength portion comes in, where you're going to engage everything. Get this out of the way. High plank. Chaturanga is coming down, if you're able, to elbow height, 4 inches. Nothing's touching. If you have to, you can use your knees to assist if your shoulders are bad. Roll your toes straight back. Come into upward facing dog. And we'll go through these more quickly in the next sequence. Roll your toes back. Downward facing dog. Now, if you have pinching during upward facing dog, you Want to just try a small cobra, keeping your knees down. But if you're able, upward facing dog, roll your toes back, downward facing dog. Look between your hands, step or hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Standing, hands overhead, mountain pose. Okay, we're going to do a couple more sequences like that, but at a faster pace. We're going to build up some heat in the body. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, high plank. Inhale, Chaturanga. Exhale, upward facing dog. Inhale, downward facing dog. Now on down dog, for some, you may be able to get your heels to the ground. I'm not able. But in down dog, the important thing is push into all of your fingers. Push in, pretend you're pushing all of your knuckles into the ground. And the important thing is to point your glutes, get them down, or get them up, raise them up through the pelvis, and pretend to point those glutes right up at that seam where the wall meets the ceiling. Get those pointed. Look between your hands. Step up to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. And rise to standing. Mountain pose. Take a breath. Exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now let's add to the sequence. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lifted. Forward fold. Inhale. Hands overhead. Exhale, mountain pose. Now we're going to add to what is known just as that as the sun salutation. Series A. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, I'm going to have you lift your right leg into three-legged dog. Point the toes, square the hips. Don't sink, bend into it, but keep everything as square as you're able. Right knee, left elbow, three-legged dog, right knee, right elbow, three-legged dog, right knee, chest, three-legged dog. Now bring your right foot up by your right thumb. Drop your left knee, left toes pointed back. Come up to just a small lunge. Just allow the pelvis to sink. Don't roll into that hip. Allow that pelvis to sink. Left arm overhead. Left elbow, right knee. And just twist, come into a prayer position, and just let that torso twist. Come up, hands overhead. Fingers to the mat. High plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Left knee, right elbow, three-legged, left knee, left elbow, three-legged, left knee, chest, three-legged. Now bring your left toes or left foot up by your left thumb. Drop your right knee. Come up and bring your right arm up. Just allow your pelvis to sink down. Go ahead and let those right toes stretch out behind you straight. Bring your right elbow, left knee, come into a twist. No matter whether it's on your right or left side, your back elbow should not be up. It should be down like this. Line with your body. And remember, don't stretch with your eyes. Stretch with your torso. Do you feel that in the hip? Left hip. Fingers to the mat. Left toes back, high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Bring your left foot up by your left thumb. Now drop your right foot out to a 45, down flat, for what's called Warrior 1. You're going to step up a little if you have to. Drop your right foot back and use your abs to lift you up. Raise your arms to Warrior 1. Always in the warrior positions, your knee is over your ankle, and you can always see the big toe and the one next to it. Come up. Get as square as you're able. Put your thumbs on your hips. Point your fingers out. Can you square up? Maybe you have to move that right leg out. Square up. Arms up, Warrior 1. And every time you raise your arms, you raise them as high as you're able without pushing your shoulders into your ears. Don't push the shoulders into the ears. Keep it open. Warrior 1. Windmill arms. Hands to the mat. Step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths in. Downward facing dog. For many, this is a restorative pose, a resting pose. Right leg, three-legged dog. Get those toes pointed, square the hips. Step your right foot up to your right thumb. Drop your left foot for Warrior 1. Use your abs to lift you up. Arms up, Warrior 1. Check that right knee. Is it over the ankle? Can you see your toes? We don't want it pushing in or out. Straight ahead. Square everything up. Windmill arms. High plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look between your hands. Step or hop up to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, mountain. Okay, just take a couple breaths here. Get those shoulders back and down. Open up the palms. Let's stop rolling our shoulders through the day and push those shoulder blades back together. Squeeze them together. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, Chaturanga. Now, in Chaturanga, always keep your elbows pinned to your ribs. Let's save our shoulders. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. For many of us, for decades, we've done push-ups with the arms too far apart, or bench pressing, and our rotator cuffs have paid the price. Inhale, right leg, three-legged dog. Bring your right leg forward, drop your back into warrior one. Hands to the mat. Chaturanga. Up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Bring your left foot forward. Drop your right. Warrior one. Hands to the mat. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look between your hands, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, Chaturanga. Come all the way face down to your mat. We're going to work on strengthening some muscles that maybe we haven't done that for a while. We don't think about. I want you to lay with your hands directly over your head, forehead's on the ground. Pinkies are on the floor, thumbs are pointed up, toes are facing back and they're flat on the floor. Okay. Now, I want you to push your pinkies into the floor. And I want you to engage your shoulder blades by pushing your pinkies into the floor. Push down, push down. Now come up to cactus arms. Elbows are pulled back. Shoulder blades are pulled together. Chest is off the ground. Head is off the ground. Forward. Straight. The shoulders together. Come up another ½ inch. And straight out in front of you. Forehead's on the ground. Push your pinkies down, push them down, engage the shoulder blades, engage, thumbs up, cactus arms, chest is off the ground, Is off the ground, you're looking down. Knees are on the ground. Raise your elbows another 1/2 inch. Straight out in front of you. Forehead's on the ground. Now, push your pinkies down and your toes. Lift your knees off the ground by pushing your toes down. You're still pushing the pinkies. Shoulder blades and legs are engaged. While pushing your toes down, cactus arms. Knees are up. Cactus arms. You're looking down. Chest is off the ground. Raise your chest again. Again. Out in front, knees down. Last time. Everything's coming off the ground except your pelvis. Push down with your pinkies. Push down with your toes. Cactus arms. Toes off the ground. Off the ground. You're looking down. Neck is straight. Don't twist your cervical vertebrae here. Keep them up. Keep them up. Everything's up. Raise everything another 1/4 inch. And come down. Turn your head and put your left ear on the ground. Just take a couple breaths. Turn your neck and put your right ear on the ground. For me, the right ear is easy. The left ear is not so easy, kind of tight. Okay. Palms next to your ribs. Elbows up. Toes curled back underneath. Come into high plank. Downward facing dog. Now, we're going to go right leg, 3-legged dog, and bring your right knee up by your right thumb. Left toes straight and back. We're going to do what's called pigeon. Now, the full expression of pigeon is to have your leg from your knee down and your foot out at 90 degrees. Personally, I think this puts way too much torque on your knee. Plus, I can't do that. So, bring your foot up as much as you're able, but don't put pressure on your knee. Now, in pigeon, the idea is to let the pelvis sink straight down. And by moving your in this case, your left toes back as much as you're able, let your pelvis and gravity go straight down. As time goes on, for some of you, you might not be able to, right now you might not be able to get this low. This isn't really low at all, but for me, this is the best stretch ever. For years and years and years, doing workouts in the gym and going to chiropractors and massage therapists, I would say, hey, my lower back is always so tight and it hurts. I said, Kurt, if you want your lower back to feel better, you got to loosen up your hips. For me, this is the best hip opener right here. Now, if you're able, at some point as we go along or today, come down to your elbows, or if you're able, or you want to work towards it, come down to your forehead. Some people can lay their chests on the floor. I doubt that's ever going to happen for me. But come down as low as you're able, whether it's on your fingertips or your forehead.
Just allow that pelvis to drop straight down and those hips to open.
Now while you're still working on your right, I'm going to show you a variation. Reclined pigeon is bringing your, in this case, your right ankle up to your left knee and just pulling back on your left thigh and stretching that right hip. Okay. All right, for those in right-legged pigeon, come up to your fingertips and back into three-legged dog. Shake that right leg out. Okay. Bring your right leg down. Left leg, three-legged dog. Left knee up to left thumb. Get that foot where you want it. Oh boy, I can just feel that hip. Too much sitting of late. Point the right toes back. Oh, there you go.
And come down as low as you're able. Now for me right now, the left hip it's not burning, but I can feel the stretch from nearly my waist right across my left glute and running down my left leg. Great hip opener. My recommendation, but if you're a runner or you're doing any kind of gym workout or any cardio, every day, as a matter of fact, just take a few minutes and do pigeon. If you don't do anything else, just do pigeon. Work on it a little bit every day. Because when I started yoga,
For me, when I started yoga, this was painful, and my goal in the first 6 months was to be able to come down to here. Okay. Let's go back to left leg, three-legged dog, and shake that out. Come down into three-legged dog. Drop your knees to the mat. Put your big toes together. Spread your knees as wide as you're able, and come down into child's pose. The thing about child's pose is it's a restorative pose. If at any time during your practice you just say, okay, I've had enough for now, come into child. Because if you're able to get those arms straight out, you can feel your shoulder blades stretching, your back stretching, your lower back stretching. This is a great stretch right here. Some are able to put their full forehead down, walk those fingers out, and still have their glutes touching their heels. For me, this is where my stretch is at right here. Okay, let's come up to standing. All right. Every time we get together, we're going to do some balance. Because I don't know about you, but I have found that my balance, before I started yoga at 4 years ago at age 54, my balance was getting worse all the time, and it was never going to get better. So just starting from the beginning, just flatten your feet into all four corners. Each foot has an imaginary corner. Get all 8 corners on the ground. Stand up straight. Now you're going to have one leg usually that is better than the other. For me, it's my left leg. That's the good one. So I'm going to, let's start by sinking into all four corners of our right foot. Just bring the left foot up and touch your toe on the ground, just rest it. Get your hip stable. Slight bend in the knee, just ever so slight. And come out to just lift your left foot off the ground in front of you, about 6 inches. For some, using your hands to find a balance may be helpful. You might want to find a spot in front of you that isn't moving, or you can focus. That would not be me, because obviously I'm moving. Oof. My right is always a challenge. Bring that left knee up without touching. Bring the left foot back. Standing as straight as you're able right now. Left knee up. And bring them down. Shake them out if you like. Switch into the left foot, or if you started there, opposite foot. Get all four corners down. Hip is engaged. Slight bend in the left knee. And bring your right foot out, or your other foot out in front of you, a few inches, just off the ground. Find that focal point. All kinds of balance poses in yoga, and we'll just keep adding them. Left knee up, woof, left knee up, and without touching, bring it behind you. Left knee, or right knee up, excuse me. Bring it down, shake it out. Okay. One last strengthening exercise for today. I'm going to work on the abs. And I can tell you that at age 58, my abs, because of yoga, and my legs have never been stronger. My abs, even when I was in high school doing all those sports, my abs are stronger today than they've ever been because of yoga. Let's just start today. Whoop. Get your sits bones underneath you well, and just hands behind your thighs for right now, and come into kind of a tabletop leg, a boat. This is called boat, or part of the expression of boat. If you're able, bring your hands out in front of you, and if you're able, straighten those legs. Keep your back straight. Try not to roll either way. Whoops. Back straight, neck straight. Raise your legs up a little bit. Left leg straight, right leg bent. Right leg straight, left leg bent. Switch, left straight, right straight, both straight. Come down into low boat. High boat. Legs down. One last stretch. Arms or legs straight out in front of you. Now here, you may want to use that belt or strap. If you're able, just lean forward as much as you're able. bending at the waist, and grabbing the toes. If that's not within your practice right now, you take the strap, put it around the balls of your feet, slowly lower that back at the waist. For some of you, you probably got your heads down on your knees right now. That's fine. That may never happen for me. Stretch it out. This was one of my 6-month goals, was to be able to touch my toes again. Come back up. Lay down on your back, and get your feet the width of your mat. Arms at your side, palms up. Close your eyes for Chaturanga, or for Shavasana. For some, this is their favorite pose of yoga. It's also called corpse pose. For a couple minutes, just allow your body to sink into the ground. Focus on letting your feet relax, let them fall apart, away from each other. Calves are molding in, thighs, glutes. If you're still practicing Ujjayi breathing, just let go of that. Let your breath be as it may. Face is relaxing. Eyes are closed. Cheeks are, gravity is pulling your cheeks down. It's okay to be still. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And you are always welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. Roll over to your right side. Gently push yourself back up to seated. Come into that comfortable seated position. I want to thank you for sharing your practice with me today. I hope you found this first ever episode of Yoga for Old Guys to be helpful. And I hope that you join me again. We're going to keep advancing and adding poses and the length of time, etc. And a little bit more heat will be added to the body. But for now, I just want to say thank you. Bring your hands to your chest. Bow your head gently in thanks to yourself, not to me, but in thanks to yourself for practicing today. And to you I say namaste. Thank you. And as always, if you're watching this on YouTube, you do me a favor and hit like and maybe share this. That would help spread the word. so to speak. Thanks and have a great day.